Every few weeks I have to bring up the name Hunter Pence. He went 2 for 5 with 1 home run, 3 RBI, and a stolen base yesterday, but that's not really the point. He's the Rodney Dangerfield of fantasy baseball. He doesn't get any respect. As I mentioned before the season started, Pence was going to run more this year. The reason he didn't run much the past few years is that he was traded each time as a hired gun to come in and drive in runs for a playoff contender. This season he started the year with San Francisco with a spot in the batting order and a chance to concentrate on just playing the game. Hunter's currently on a pace for a .295 season with 27 home runs, 88 RBI, 101 runs scored, and 32 stolen bases. He went for $9 in my league and probably less in yours if you had an auction. He's a wonderful fantasy player that you could probably get in a trade for not very much. Do you need strikeouts? If you do, you need to trade for Darvish. The Japanese import struck out another 9 batters and is the only pitcher in the game on pace for more than 300 strikeouts. He's not too shabby in the other categories either. Although he settled for a no decision in his last 4 starts, Darvish has allowed just 7 runs combined over that span, covering almost 29 innings. He's scheduled to make his next start Tuesday at home against the A's, where he's allowed just 1 run or fewer in each of his last 3 starts. Against his former team, Ben Revere went 4 for 6 with his 15th stolen base on the season, scoring twice. Revere is one of the better stolen base guys in the game, but unfortunately, he doesn't walk much. Currently hitting .266 and on pace for 36 steals, if he can find his way on base a bit more regularly, he's an intriguing option for those looking for steals. He only starts in 30% of leagues, so he can be had. Cliff Lee was removed after 7 innings against the Twins and 101 pitches after developing a blister on his hand. Another fine performance by one of the more consistent pitchers in the game. 3 hits, 1 walk, and 6 Ks, giving up just 2 runs. He's expected to be ready for Tuesday's home start against the Nationals. I never had Troy Tulowitzki on my roster, and I don't think I ever will. It's not that I don't like him as a player. In fact, at a thin position, I have him ranked as the #1 guy. But for some reason, the injury gods just have it out for him. Diving for a ground ball in the 8th inning, Tulo broke a rib and is now expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. As usual, someone's loss is someone else's gain. Expect Josh Rutledge to be recalled from AAA. He's a player that can and will contribute in many fantasy categories. Colorado received a double whammy yesterday when Carlos Gonzalez was hit on the left foot by a foul ball in the first inning while standing in the on-deck circle. X-rays were negative, and he's considered day-to-day. Carlos Ruiz is scheduled to begin a rehab assignment on Saturday. Assuming he suffers no setbacks with his strained right hamstring, he's expected to be back in the Phillies lineup on June 21st. Jose Reyes owners, smile a bit. He's scheduled to play in a simulated game Friday, and if all goes well, he'll start a minor league rehab assignment on Monday. Mitch Bukowski from Blaine, Minnesota writes, "Hey Michael, I'm in a 10-team deep weekly set league, and I've had Wilin Rosario on my bench for about a month now. He's been absolutely terrible for most of the season. How long do I keep him around? Currently still owned in 89% of Yahoo leagues, which I just cannot believe. Thanks." Mitch, the reason he's owned by so many is that he's only 24 and he led the major leagues in home runs by catchers last season with 28. Now, as bad as he's been, he's still the 7th-ranked catcher by performance. He's only batting .239, but he does have 10 home runs and 32 RBI. That's on pace for 24 home runs and 79 RBI, and you aren't going to find many catchers who do that. That said, Rosario simply hasn't been healthy. He recently underwent a biopsy on the inner part of his right elbow as a result of water fungus on his left arm, and he's been expected to get the results today. Assuming that there's nothing found of major concern, I would not only hold on to him, I'd play him. As his arm gets healthy, he'll heat up. When all is said and done, assuming he's healthy, I expect him to be a top 5 fantasy catcher. Be careful picking up young pitchers. Often the expectations for midseason call-ups are way too high. The Orioles optioned Kevin Gausman down to AAA yesterday after making his big league debut on May 23rd, going 0-3 with a 7.66 ERA and a whip of 1.62 in 5 starts. Often we read the hype on these kids and simply assume that means they will be successful. I guarantee that you haven't seen 99% of the pitchers that get called up pitch before, and you're relying on what someone is writing in a book or on the internet about them for your information. Guess what? The guy who wrote that report you just read never saw him pitch either. He just scraped it off the internet from someone else who probably never saw him. In my league, someone spent $31 out of his $100 free agent budget on Gausman 6 weeks ago, and now that money's been wasted. Don't make that same mistake. Before you spend that kind of money on a pitcher being called up, make certain you have a lot more information about the kid than an internet scouting report. For RotoExperts, I'm Mike Cardano.